The night was black ice and headlights. I had just gotten off another late shift, my little rusted sedan barely holding itself together, when a truck swerved into my lane. The world spun, glass exploded, metal twisted, and the next thing I knew, I was halfway out of my windshield, blood soaking my shirt, my body screaming in shock. I clawed at the door, trying to get free, gasping in the freezing air, praying someone would stop. But when a car finally slowed down, my heart dropped. It was my parents' SUV. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. They pulled up, warm heat spilling from their headlights, their silhouettes sharp in the beam. Relief crashed into me, but before I could open my mouth, my mom rolled the window halfway down, her fur collar brushing against the frame. Her voice was cold. "Look at you, can't even drive home without making a mess." My dad's laugh was sharp, cruel. "Bleeding out in the middle of the road like some stray dog. Get up if you're worth saving." I coughed, choking on blood. "Please, help me. Call someone. Please, Dad." He leaned his arm out the window, pointing at me with a disgusted curl of his lip. "If you die here, maybe it saves us money. One less mouth to feed. Your sister is the one we invest in." That's when I noticed the passenger door open. My brother, neatly dressed, a smug grin on his face, stepped out and looked down at me like I was rotting trash on the curb. He didn't say a word at first, just smirked. Then, calm and deliberate, he muttered, "Better she bleeds out. I don't want her dragging us down." The SUV door slammed, and just like that, they drove off. Left me broken, bleeding, headlights fading into the dark. I don't know how long I lay there clutching my ribs, dragging myself across the asphalt with nails tearing. Every breath was fire, but I refused to die where they left me. Hours blurred, but eventually a stranger in a pickup truck pulled over, rushing me to the hospital. That man, a complete stranger, saved my life when my own blood didn't think I was worth a phone call. Days later, bruised and stitched, I was still alive. Alive, but hollow. My parents didn't visit, not once. My brother didn't call. All I got was a text from my mom. "If you're well enough, sign the papers tomorrow. We need your name on the documents for the property." Lying in that hospital bed, IV dripping into my veins, I stared at that message until my hands shook. The only reason they wanted me alive was to use me as a tool, not to care, not to love, not to help, for wealth, for property. And right then, I felt something inside me shift. Not hope, not pain, something sharper. I knew if they wanted wealth, if they wanted control, then I would tear it out of their hands and burn every bridge they thought they owned. So I got up, broken bones and all, and quietly started to plan. When I finally got discharged, I wasn't walking out like a survivor. I was dragging myself, ribs wrapped, arms still stiff from the crash. Every step outside the hospital doors felt heavier because I knew what waited wasn't love, wasn't family, just chains. I didn't even make it back to the tiny rental apartment before my dad showed up, barging into my room without knocking. He didn't ask if I was okay. He didn't even look at the bruises that painted my skin. Instead, he tossed a thick folder onto the bed where I was resting and barked, "Sign them. The land transfer needs your name. Your sister and brother can't get it without you. Don't make this harder than it has to be." My fingers shook as I flipped through. Property deeds. Assets. All tied under my grandfather's will, but with clauses that required all children to co-sign. My parents had ignored me all my life, until suddenly I was useful as a signature. "I almost died," I whispered, staring at him. "And all you care about is this?" He sneered. "Don't play victim. You're still breathing, aren't you? Don't expect us to clap for that." I clenched the papers, bile rising in my throat. "So I was only ever a name to you, a pen stroke." From the doorway, my mom appeared, her perfume too strong, like she wanted to cover the stench of rot in her soul. "Don't dramatize," she said flatly. "We gave you life. The least you can do is give us this. Your sister deserves her future. You'll never amount to one." That night, I didn't sleep. I kept picturing the crash, the headlights fading, my brother's smirk, the sound of tires rolling away while I begged for life. And now they wanted me to hand over the only thing tying me to the family tree. Something inside me hardened. Days stretched, and their pressure only grew worse. My brother called, mocking me. "You think you're strong because you survived? You're just a pen we'll use, then toss out." He laughed into the phone, telling me how he and my sister were already making plans for the inheritance. Dreaming bigger without the dead weight. My sister, dripping in arrogance, even showed up at my apartment once, holding her designer bag like it was a trophy. "Just sign and disappear quietly," she said, smirking. "You're not cut out for anything else. Dad said you're like rust. You only spread if you're left unchecked." Her words stabbed deeper than the crash wounds, and yet, I played along. I nodded. I let them think they were winning. I took the papers, pretended to consider, and promised, "I'll bring them back soon." What they didn't know was that every moment I spent alone, I wasn't just licking my wounds, I was planning. I pulled old records. I tracked every bank account, every clause in the will, every hidden asset they thought I didn't know about. My pain became my weapon. One late night, as I scrolled through the legal documents, I realized something. They'd been careless. They left traces, accounts they assumed I'd never have access to. And because my name was tied by law, I had more rights than they thought. If they wanted me only as a signature, then I would use that signature, but not the way they imagined. The next morning, my dad pounded at my door again, angry I hadn't complied yet. He called me pathetic, selfish, even shoved me against the wall with my ribs still healing, whispering, "If you weren't born, all of this would already belong to your sister." My mom stood behind him, nodding, muttering, "Sometimes mistakes linger too long." That was the moment it clicked. They thought I was broken, but I wasn't broken. I was invisible, and invisibility was more dangerous than power flaunted in the open. I wasn't going to scream, I wasn't going to beg, and I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of watching me crawl. Instead, I was going to vanish after I stripped every single thing they worshipped. I gathered everything, bank details, hidden deeds, insurance policies, the pieces of the empire they had built on cruelty, and as I sealed the folder shut, my chest ached. But this time, it wasn't pain from the crash. It was anticipation, because soon they'd learn that the daughter they left bleeding on the highway was not a pen to be used. She was the fire that would burn it all down. I didn't storm into their house. I didn't scream in their faces. I didn't even tell them I knew everything. I vanished. I signed the papers, but not the way they expected. Instead of transferring the property to their names, I moved everything to a trust under mine. Every account they thought was untouchable, every deed they drooled over, every asset my grandfather had left, I pulled it all out from under them quietly, legally, and without a single warning. Then I packed. No long speeches, no tears, just a single bag, a new phone number, and a plan. By the time my dad stormed into my apartment 2 weeks later with my sister shrieking behind him, they found nothing. The place was empty. A single envelope sat on the counter, sealed in black ink. My mom ripped it open with her nails and read aloud, "Your real children will need more than arrogance to survive. You left me bleeding once. You won't get the chance again. Your mistake." That was it. No return address, no hint of where I'd gone, and that drove them insane. For the first time in their lives, they had no control. They couldn't shout me into submission, couldn't slap me into silence, couldn't demand obedience. They didn't even know where to find me. Weeks turned to months, and from a distance, I heard pieces of the fallout. My brother, furious, tried to take shortcuts, betting and losing what little scraps they had left. My sister, spoiled and careless, wasted the last of their savings trying to maintain the image of superiority. My dad, so used to barking orders, found himself powerless. Too old to start over and too bitter to change. My mom tried to keep up appearances, but with every bill that went unpaid, every door that closed, the mask slipped further. Meanwhile, I rebuilt. Quietly. Patiently. I rented a place in another town under a new name. I took jobs they would have mocked, jobs that gave me independence and peace of mind. Every dollar I earned was mine, Every breath I took was free from their control. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the mistake. I was simply me. And the best part? They didn't get the ending they wanted. No groveling apology from me. No scene where I forgave them or begged them to take me back. No reunion where they could rewrite the past. The last time they saw me was the day they left me bleeding on the highway. In their minds, I stayed there. But in reality, I was gone. Living, breathing, thriving while they choked on the emptiness they'd created. One winter evening, I got a call from an unfamiliar number. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was my dad. His voice, once booming, was now cracked. "We lost everything," he muttered. "Your brother, your sister, they're gone. We need you. Come back, please." I didn't say a word. I let the silence stretch until he began to panic, whispering, "Hello? Are you there? Please." Then I hung up. And that silence was louder than any revenge speech, harsher than any public humiliation. Because the truth was simple. They wanted my presence to validate them, to fix them, to keep them from sinking. And I refused. That night, I slept deeper than I had in years, because revenge wasn't just about what I took from them, it was about what I denied them forever. Me. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.